All right, we are back after the holiday break on the Andre Duke Show with Carter Smith. Carter, how are we doing?
I'm doing great, man. Doing great. Excited to be back. Ready for another week. Had a great holiday there. Had the kids throughout the holidays, so got to spend Christmas morning with them. Christmas Eve, we did some stuff with the family and everything like that, and then Christmas Day. And then after that, my sister came in town from Michigan on the 26th and got together, got the whole family together, did a nice little second Christmas type thing. And then on the 27th, man, my mom got all of us this it's called like the game show battle rooms. And so my entire family went to this game show battle room and they split you up into teams and you play games like Family Feud and shit like that. It was so fun, man. We had a blast. So it was good. Had to dodge some illness here and there. My dad ended up in the hospital with the norovirus and some other things going on with his lungs and things like that. So I've been dealing with all that, but man, excited to get back to it. Got back on the grind and back on a schedule today. Got back to work and just excited, man. We got only 2 days left until these play out. Well, one of them is tomorrow night, but 2 days left until the other 3 games. So just pumped up, man. This is a great time of year. How about you? How was your holiday? How was your week?
Can't complain. I had a lot of family come into town. It was a good time. Got the smoker out. Went through almost a whole bag of pellets this
There you go.
This cycle. So we had a grand old heel time, and yeah. I am so glad the elf is back to the North Pole.
That was so nice, right? Oh, Christmas Eve, I'm like, shit, what am I doing with it? And I was like, oh, no. The motherfucker goes back to the North Pole tonight. All right.
Hey, very, very nice hiatus.
Yes.
Cannot complain about that. But with that being said, we do have playoff games.
All kinds of them.
The biggest games of the year. It's been a very interesting time on the internet. The transfer portal is closed. I wouldn't say we missed a lot, but kind of a lot happened, but nothing too exciting. The Sellers kid re-ups his deal. Jackson, Jackson Arnold gets a big check. I'm just kind of skimming through some of the things while we were off through the holidays that I was thinking that happened. The Pop-Tarts Bowl is the premier bowl game. It is elite.
Did you know they got special permission from the NCAA to paint sprinkles on the sideline?
I don't know why
I love it, man. Like, so if you looked at the sideline, like the white lines on the sideline had sprinkles on them.
Oh yeah.
It's wild. And then the trophy's a functioning toaster.
Yes. That is the Pop-Tart Bowl is kind of what it's all about. Cam Ward's getting a ton of heat.
As he should.
I don't know. I got to do some more diving into that. Was it his decision not to play?
Yes. Yeah, he opted out. And you know why he played?
Oh,
my whole thing is
there was probably an NIL incentive.
No. He played because he needed one touchdown pass to break Case Keenum's career touchdown passes record for the NCAA. So he played, threw a touchdown, and then opted out. And it's like, bro, are you that fucking like self-absorbed? Like, oh, I have to be the NCAA leader. First of all, it took you 8 years to do it. Case Keenum did it in 4. Second of all, is it that important to you? You're about to go be maybe the first quarterback taken off the board in the NFL. If you get hurt trying to throw one touchdown pass, how's that worth it? And if you're going to play the game, play the game. You're in a shootout. You're in a shootout, and you look at your teammates and go, hey, have fun, guys. I'm out.
I'm to the point of that they need to play in the bowl games. I just
It would be nice. I don't care, but like, I don't care about opt-outs. Like, I get it. Like, if it makes sense for you, like your future, to opt out of a meaningless bowl game, which this was a meaningless bowl game, I get it. But if you're gonna play in the bowl game, play in the bowl game. Don't come out at halftime and go, "No, I'm done."
Well, here's the other. I would say my argument on this is that if we're gonna have a bowl game like this, or get rid of them altogether.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen
because it's to the
Too
point that I get it. Or I think if they expand the playoffs, the bowl games are going to evaporate to a certain extent.
I mean, they'll be included just like the Rose Bowl and Sugar Bowl and all that stuff is right now, and like they'll keep expanding what bowl games are included. The other games will continue to be more and more meaningless. The only way you get this back to where the bowl games matter is if you give a financial incentives to the players playing in the bowl game, right? If you win the bowl game, just like the NBA does with the stupid NBA Cup that nobody cares about, nobody watches, nobody gives a shit about the mid-season tournament, but the players play hard because guess what? You get a bonus if you win it. So if you play in the bowl game and you win your bowl game, the Pop-Tart Bowl or the Iron whatever Cheez-It Bowl, like you get a little bonus. Like here's 20 grand, here's 50 grand, whatever it is. And that's how you make the bowl games mean more. And because it's all driven by money.
And also, it just kind of blows me away that I've always thought to a certain extent that are we better off that we had watched, like Ohio U play Ohio U get slaughtered versus South Carolina in the Boca Raton Bad Boy Mower Bowl.
Hey, it's nice for them boys from Athens, Ohio, to get a trip to Boca, though.
It's just like if we're going to do this, can we at least do it right?
No,
that's
asking too much.
But
the thing is like it's just like the NFL and all this other stuff, like Thursday games, Sunday morning games at 9:30 in London. Like everybody complains about like, oh, it's a bad Thursday night game. Yeah, it is. But guess what? You're still watching. So if you keep watching, they're going to keep giving it to you and expanding it until you stop watching. And like these bowl games, the ratings aren't great, but they're better than most everything else on TV. So the TV networks are like, yeah, give me Miami of Ohio versus whoever. Give me all, like whatever I can get for live sports, give it to me because it'll draw a bigger number than anything else I can put on TV.
Yeah, it's just
on a Monday at 2:30 p.m. I know today at work, I know I had one of my two screens had a bowl game on. I was watching it even though I was working.
I haven't.
I mean, it's something to watch. And especially now with gambling, like I can gamble on the games while I'm watching it. Like it's something to do.
Betting on bowl games is a little rough.
Well, the way to bet on bowl games, in my opinion, and it's tough to do in the state of Ohio because you can't do player props, but you can do prop bets live in game. And so, like, I was sitting with my dad at the hospital after work, and we were watching the Missouri Iowa game. I was up 24-21. Missouri is about to get the ball back, and he's sitting there. He's like, I don't know. What do you think? Next drive for Missouri. You think they score a touchdown, kick a field goal, punt? Like, what are you thinking? And I was like, dude, I don't know. I haven't really been watching this game because I was working and then I was driving, but I'd say field goal. And so put it on field goal, and boom, they kick a field goal to tie the game, and all of a sudden we cashed out a little bit. Like it's just fun, right?
Can't on that. Speaking of field goals, real quick before we hop into the notes here, how about the Atlanta Falcons? Last night, Buddy had it primed up and just not enough leg.
He just didn't have it. He just didn't have enough leg, man. And every Atlanta Falcons fan is sitting there going, man, if only Young Hoku was not hurt. Because Koo's got the leg. Now he's been missing it left and right this year, but he would have gotten it there.
I think he's kicked like 4-game winners or something.
Yeah, no, he's a solid kicker. I just know because I am friends with a Falcons fan who follows it very closely. And I texted him, I was like, dude, don't you wish Koo was healthy? And he's like, man, Koo's been missing a lot this year. I was like, yeah, but at least it would have got there.
Yeah.
And then Jaden Daniels goes into overtime and just does Jaden Daniels things.
Yeah, I know we have that in the notes.
Well, we can jump to it.
Just real quick on the Caleb Williams side of things, we had this conversation early, like 2 weeks into the season.
Mm-hmm.
And, I was on the, like, let's wait and see. It was one of those that, the writing was on the wall. I don't think Caleb's a good fit in Chicago.
No. But we talked about this. I thought Caleb Williams could be a good NFL quarterback. I still think he could be. I'm not saying he's a total bust because of this or anything like that. But I just love all the people that are pumping his stats at you. Like, oh, he's throwing for this many yards and like comparing his rookie year to Joe Burrow's. And they're like, one of them's called a bust and the other one is the best quarterback in the NFL or whatever. And it's like, yeah, Joe Burrow did that in 10 games before he got injured. And he threw for like 400 yards less, a couple more picks, maybe. I don't like their picks are pretty similar, like 1 or 2 off. Touchdowns are like Caleb has 2 more or something. But it's like, yeah, he did that in 10 games. And their record was really bad because the Bengals sucked. But Joe Burrow looked better. And the other part is, and I heard this stat today. Since the year 2000, there have been 532 quarterbacks that have thrown at least 100 passes, 10 yards or more in the air. And do you know where Caleb Williams ranks in completion percentage on passes 10 yards more or more?
Probably, I don't know, DFL.
Dead fucking last. He completes 36%, I believe it was, 36% of his passes over 10 yards in the air he completes, which ranks him dead last since the year 2000 of every quarterback, 532 of them in the history of the NFL since 2000 that has thrown at least 100 passes, 10 yards or more. He's dead last. And it's like, yeah, I get it. He dinks and dunks and he does these things, but and then like the Bears media or whatever will throw, well, he's been sacked 80 million times this year. Yeah, I get it. The offensive line isn't great. But a lot of those sacks are also on him for not getting rid of the ball.
Right. And I think that there's a big component to the Caleb Williams stuff.
Well, and as I said, I think the Bears are a playoff team with Jaden Daniels.
I don't know. Maybe like draft Joe Alt and keep Justin Fields. I don't know.
Could have done that.
Could
have done that. Yeah. I mean, that would have been an option. They were better last year with Justin Fields than they are this year.
That is maybe thinking too far outside of the box. Maybe thinking
maybe draft a like Hall of Fame level tackle, give him some protection, and then still draft Roma Dunze at 9 and give him the weapons that Caleb had, and then you have. But anyways, Justin Fields sucks. Caleb Williams isn't a bust. I get it.
One of these guys is going to be in the playoffs, and the others isn't.
No. Listen to this. Jaden Daniels playoff. Michael Penix might be playoffs. And Bo Nix playoffs unless they lose this week.
Yeah.
So you could say of all the quarterbacks taken in the first round, Caleb Williams is the only one that is going to miss the playoffs.
And he could also...
Because J.J. McCarthy is going to make the playoffs. Now, he didn't play it down because of injury, but...
And And real quick, how about that? Some of the
Yeah.
people, when we talked about, I was on the Sam Darnold train. I said, give him a chance at the beginning of the year.
14-2 might be the number 1 seed in the NFC if they beat the Lions next week.
I had some conversations with some people behind the scenes, and they're like, "Hey, Sam Darnold's going to do well this year." And I heard there was a lot of loud ass mouth people out there saying, Sam and we got Sam Darnold. We're screwed. We're screwed.
Yeah, not so much. Not so much. You're screwed right to the number 1 seed. And the crazy thing is, the way the NFC's lined up, and we don't talk a lot of NFL, but it's that time of year with the playoffs coming up and everything like that. But so if the Vikings lose yesterday, then the Lions just have to win tonight and they lock up the number 1 seed. But the Vikings beat the Packers yesterday, and now tonight's game means absolutely nothing.
Yes.
Because if the Lions lose, the winner of next week is the number 1 seed. If the Lions win, the winner of next week is the number 1 seed. Like tonight means absolutely nothing. And a lot of people are asking Dan Campbell, well, if that's the case, why don't you just rest everybody?
I think Dan will play him 3 quarters or at least a half.
He'll play him the whole game if it's close, I promise you. And he said that. He said, because I'm trying to win as many football games as possible. I wasn't brought here to sit players, and these players aren't here to not play football. And it's like, all right, that sounds good until Amon-Ra gets hurt in the 4th quarter and you lose him for the rest of the season.
Here's another, interesting endeavor that, the NFL thinks everything's so great. Not that I'm complaining, but the Steelers played 3 games in 11 days. Like,
cry me a river.
It's like it could have been anybody. Like the London thing is dumb. I'm totally over the Thursday night football. And then they're starting to play NFL games after college football regular season's over. They're playing NFL games on Saturday. They've
done that for years.
It's just dumb. Like if it's a playoff game, okay, but yeah, I'm not tuning in to the Chargers Patriots. I wouldn't walk across the frickin' street to watch the Patriots.
I mean, that's fine, but guess what? 10 million people are. So they're going to keep doing it.
And it goes to show you that, that the NFL fan, they have drug in so many people to where it's the lowest common denominator, because they said like 15 million people watched the Bears Seahawks and there wasn't even 20 points scored in that game.
Yep.
That is an absolute fucking joke.
Yeah, and it's going to continue. It doesn't matter. But the thing is, there's nothing better you can put on TV.
But see, the thing
there's
of
no
it
better
is,
product.
The product is bad.
It's still better than every product out there. Like it's better than the NBA. It's better than the NHL. It's better than Major League Baseball. It's better than college football. It's better than every scripted show ever. It's better than everything. So what do you like? I'm sorry. Like, you want to invent a new thing?
Like, me personally, I'm not watching that.
That's fine. There's 20 million people that will.
I know, and it just blows my mind, because
especially with gambling now.
Oh yeah, like
you can gamble on any game. It doesn't matter if it's going to be a good game or not.
And this is the last thing on that.
Yeah,
I sound like old man yelling at the clouds here.
Kind of.
But I'm not watching the Patriots, like the Patriots Bears on a Thursday night. It is just unbelievable. Like this.
What are you going to watch instead?
Like, I'm watching something else. I'm watching a movie. I'm watching something else.
Nah, I'm gonna throw it on because I don't want to pay attention that closely. I'll be doing stuff I'll be working on my laptop or doing stuff on my phone or whatever. But I have the TV on, so may as well throw it out there.
And I'm probably 9 times out of 10 I can I'm gonna be watching college basketball. To me the NFL, the Thursday night games were not very good.
They could be better, but
the product all year has been bad. The when Thursday night was the best was when they did it just in November. It was one division of teams, and every team that played on Thursday night the following week had a bye. I think 17 games is too much. No one plays in the preseason.
Well, it's going to 18, so.
And yeah, it's going to another regular season game. And, the Chiefs locked up their division in week 12? And they still have, X amount of weeks left. Like, dude. It just the whole NFL model it's just way too much for me anymore.
Yeah. Well, let's get to some chats real quick and reset the show, and then we'll jump into a few more social media things before we get into the playoffs.
Yeah.
Anyone else? This is Sid. Appreciate you, Sid. Anyone else love that Georgia fans think this is a warm-up game? Hope we beat their ass. Dude, I love it. I love that energy. Keep that energy, Georgia fans, because I love it. That is it's perfect energy going into this game. So I love it personally. I think that sets up. Yeah. I mean, it doesn't matter how much you win by at this point. Just win by a point. But yeah, also Greengrass. Can you blame them? We have sucked under Kelly anytime we had big games for 11 years. That's true. But Sid's right. We aren't under Kelly anymore. Not that Marcus has shown that he's like a big game guru or anything. Like it's still jury's still out. But it's a different time, and this is a different Notre Dame team. And so I love that. Let Georgia fans be what Tennessee fans were last week. Or 2 weeks ago, whatever it was now.
I don't know. I guess I haven't really seen a whole bunch of chatter.
I have. Georgia fans are loud as
too awful much. But the thing I'll say is that I don't know if Carson Beck was. It's either going to help. I wouldn't say that he's probably better. Carson Beck is probably better than their backup, obviously.
Yeah, possibly.
But then again, was he distracted too much to make good decisions? Because he did throw it to the other team a lot this year.
Yeah. So I would say that the quarterback position is a non-factor in when I'm breaking it down. Like, I mean, it's a factor, obviously, but like, I don't think. Yeah, exactly. Different coaching staff, hopefully better prepared, everything like that. But I think Gunnar Stockton is as good as Carson Beck has been all year. I think Carson Beck was better last year than what I think Gunnar Stockton will be this year. But also, and you already saw it. I probably saw it today. I didn't put it in here because I didn't want to get copyright. But Nick Saban's already out there carrying the water for Georgia. Already out there saying, oh, I've known Gunnar Stockton since he was 8 years old. And this guy, you could see it in the second half of the SEC title game. First pass incomplete, second pass on the money. And that offense didn't change at all. They ran the exact same offense they've run all year. And I would say they were even a little better under Gunnar Stockton. Like, he's already out there pushing that narrative. And it could be right. And Gunnar Stockton is a better runner than Beck was. So it does add a little bit to the offense in that regard. But I don't think that injury plays a role at all. I think that is going to be whatever it is, and it's fine. I think at the end of the day, it's going to be one at different positions. And when we break down the game, I'll break down where I think the game has to be won if you're Notre Dame. Shocker, it's where every game in the history of football has to be won. But
yeah. Before we keep rolling on this, for everybody out there watching, please hit that like and subscribe button. We're closing in on to we're on the road to 500. We are doing that. I just think that we're making our way through there, but making our way on the road to 500. Hit the like and subscribe button. Help us grow this show.
Absolutely. And my guy Spiffy McGee's back. Believe what you want, but Georgia is going to show up, flip a switch, and beat the absolute fuck out of Notre Dame. I can't imagine Notre Dame gets even 60 yards total rushing. Wow. That's a bold statement considering Notre Dame has the number 3 rushing offense in the country, and Georgia's rush defense isn't even top 30. But
well, everybody watched that Georgia Tech game, right?
Yeah, but I get it. But this is what we were talking about. This is what Sid was talking about. This is Georgia fans, and I get it. You guys have a right to be a little chesty, right? Like they won 2 natties back to back. You've been competing for natties every year for 5 years. I get it. Like you should be chesty. You should think that. But understand something. This isn't the same Georgia team y'all had. Like this defense is not a typical Georgia defense. It's not. And on top of that, like
we'll
get into it more.
I just think it is. I think when it comes down to this, because people try to do the transitive property thing, in which we try to avoid that. Hey, he says he'll show up if he's wrong.
Hey, I believe you will. You seem like a guy that will stand in the paint and take it if you're wrong. I love the confidence, man. Hey, I'll be on here after the game. Well, probably not after the day after the game, and I'll admit it if Notre Dame doesn't even put up a fight. But
but because of the differencing of schedules, the vaunted schedule that Georgia played this year opposed to Notre Dame, and I feel like
how good are those teams really? Like here's trash.
Here's one thing that I think has been the biggest thing that is the truth teller all year. We could talk about the numbers, we can talk about this, and we could talk about everything under the sun. But at the end of the day, they have to light it up, and they got to put 10 pounds of gear on there and run into the guy across from them, and then we'll find out and we'll know. And
that's the beautiful thing about football, is that it's all settled on the field, and so we'll get to find out.
And I think that there was a lot of fan bases that chirped a lot. Tennessee was very loud. Although I do think it's funny, the SEC bias goes with everybody, but it just stops at Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, Tennessee,
yeah.
No, they weren't any good.
Nobody was calling for changes to the CFP selection committee when Tennessee got blown out.
Those were really quiet.
Yeah.
I don't. And we're not going to completely rehash the whole thing. I think the criteria, they've got to do something. I would think
they're already talking about it. There's been discussions had already about changing the auto bid selection process, and the conference champions will still get an auto bid, but not an auto buy and things like that, to make it better. Because honestly, that's what fucked it up. Like Arizona State, SMU, Boise, were they 3 of the best 12 teams in college football? Probably not. But there has to be some sort of ramifications for being really mid all year. And so they should have gotten in. Now, should Boise and Arizona State gotten buys? Absolutely not. There are 8 to 10 teams better than them in the playoffs that should have gotten buys. I appreciate that, Spiffy. But we try to keep it real. We try to keep it real, and I fly off the handle a little bit. I try to rein that in sometimes, but I appreciate it. Hey, get us more followers. Share it with your friends, Georgia friends, whoever. We respect all fan bases here.
And it's the Arizona State thing. I think that is a really fascinating story to me.
Yeah.
Just for the simple fact of, they got picked dead last. You don't even have it in the notes tonight. What the fuck happened to Colorado?
Dude, how about that? That was the worst 24 hours for Shedeur Sanders ever. Like, dude lines up and wears New York Giants cleats gets blown out by BYU. Mind you, BYU was SMU's only loss before the playoffs until other than Clemson, but we won't get into that. Gets absolutely blown out by BYU. And then the Giants go and turn around and they win a game to lose the first pick overall. And now Fedora's like, oh no.
I agree with Sid and Spiffy thinks, Pat does got 100 M's.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. He did play, but damn, dude, like you could tell
what they were doing.
In Colorado, they lost that linebacker Hill Green. They lost a couple pieces on defense, and I think that the Colorado thing was a fascinating story. I think also. I did see a couple of the offensive linemen for BYU make comments to the media that it was basically a 3-hour promo for Colorado on the bowl game at the Alamo Bowl. It was basically an infomercial. I mean, ESPN want to pump that narrative and have an infomercial, but the BYU all year they had a couple they had a couple of myths on the road that they spit the bit, but it's one of the things that goes into this. You got to show up week in and week out, and BYU didn't do that. But also Keilani Sitake should be considered for Coach of the Year.
Mm-hmm.
He should have been. BYU 5-7 last year. Kenny Dillingham. A lot of people say the Big 12 is not as talented, but the big time major hitters in that conference, it's Mike Gundy is, I think he's staring at getting fired in the face.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's getting it. I don't think it's staring a cow in the face, or allegedly. I don't know, but the major players in that conference that were supposed to be the top of it were not, and I think this is something that goes to the new age. Everybody thought Arizona was going to compete for it. Kansas,
not
I thought
even close.
And although I think BYU took a page out of Kansas's book and just completely fucked Colorado up, but
so Colorado's a fraud. I agree. I agree. I've said Colorado's a fraud, and then this year I thought maybe not, and then they go and do that. But they're not getting the kids. Other than the kid that was going to go to USC, the quarterback that they brought in, they're not getting top talent, really. What's up, Joe? Appreciate you tuning in, man.
What's up, Joe?
So this one, I want to talk about this one because I agree with you completely, Spiffy. Georgia's true talent is between the ears. Kirby wants football players that can be repped into gentleman killers who can ignore impulse and don't just overreact to their feelings. I agree with you. So this is one of the things that we'll talk about probably a lot over the next day or two. One of the things that I think gives Georgia a huge advantage is the mentality. And just Kirby Smart is one of the best in-game coaches in college football. He's one of the best game plan scheme guys in college football, and that's going to be a true test for Notre Dame. And so I agree with you. I think Georgia definitely they obviously boast a lot of 4 and 5 star talent and crazy athletes, but where they really separate themselves from other teams is just their football IQ and the way they're coached. Kirby is a phenomenal coach, so you won't hear anything negative from me about Kirby like that. But switching gears a little bit here, we'll stick with the college football trend here. But Spiffy says Oregon by 7, Texas by 14, Boise by 3, and Georgia by 17. Those are some bold predictions there. I don't know if I agree with any of them, to be honest with you. But
I think Texas might roll.
I definitely think they could. The only thing is if Arizona State can control the clock with Scatterboo, I think Arizona State's got a shot. And if Quinn Ewers plays like he has this whole year.
Yeah.
But Boise State, I don't know if they have a shot, but this man gives anybody a shot. And he only needs 132 yards to break Barry Sanders' record. Does he get it tomorrow night or Wednesday at noon?
I don't know. That's a loaded question because I think it's going to be if BYU wants to win the game, I think they're going to have to be able to or not
Who?
BYU, Boise, sorry.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait, what are we talking about here?
If Boise wants to win this game, they are going to have to they're going to have to be able to throw the ball and not just be so one-dimensional. Does Jeanty get it? I would not be here's my prediction. I would not be shocked if Boise State wins this game. Just for the simple fact of something will happen that will be like totally Penn State because
James Franklin gonna James Franklin?
Yes, that is the only thing that would give me hesitance, and I have a I just think that's what we're looking at here is the James Franklin choke on chicken bone factor.
Yeah. So I forget who tweeted it out, but somebody tweeted out goes, the playoff has too many teams when James Franklin is winning playoff games.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, yeah, okay, I get it. But no, I think so. I honestly, if I had to take a guess, I'm saying Jeanty doesn't get the record. And the reason is Penn State's run defense is better than anything Boise State has seen all year, including Oregon. It's not close. So I think that's the difference. And I think at the end of the day, Penn State's going to win this game. James Franklin, deer in the headlights, yes. But so I don't think he gets it. And there's another running back going for a record this weekend. And Saquon Barkley needs like 106 yards to break. Oh, God, I just had it. Eric Dickerson's record. Now, I don't even know if Saquon's going to play, though.
And see, that's the thing because they added the extra regular season game. Yeah. That's the thing that kind of is like you have an extra regular season game now, so a lot of records are going to fall. But
yeah, I mean it's still an impressive record, but
yeah.
Pause said, "All right, take it easy, man." But no, Penn State does have a good defense. I agree. Let's see. Spiffy says Will Howard comes back down to earth. Scatterboo can't carry them. PSU offense shits the bed. Jeanty goes wild. Kirby has 3.5 weeks, 17. Yeah, I get it. You're not wrong. I could see all of those things happening, right? Like I could absolutely see Scatterboo not being able to carry them against Texas because Texas has a decent defense. Will Howard 100% could come back to life. However, Will Howard wasn't great in their first matchup against Oregon. He was good. He wasn't great. But I don't know if Will Howard has to be great for Ohio State to beat Oregon. We'll see. Penn State's offense, who knows? But it would take Jeanty going wild. I agree. And then the Georgia thing, we'll see, man. I agree. I know that Georgia has all the million stars in the world on their roster, but we'll see.
Yeah. Also,
hold on. We got this one. We got this one here. Thelma Hayek still hotter at 58 than Sydney Sweeney now. Listen, I love me some Selma Hayek. Don't get me wrong, but that's false. Sydney Sweeney's the best in the game right now.
That's all a preference thing. Also,
yeah, I do like blondes. You're right.
here's an interesting thing that, happened while we were off. Kyle McCord goes for almost 500 yards and 5 tutties.
Yeah, it sets the ACC record for yards, right? So
yes.
Here's a funny stat for you. Did you know that Ryan Day has coached, 3 or 4? It might be 4, but it's at least 3 quarterbacks that hold their conference record for passing yards in their conference. Can you name them?
I would say Kyle McCord.
Yep.
Quinn Ewers.
Nope.
Dwayne
Haskins in the Big Ten. Yep. There's one more that I know he coached, and I'd have to look at the Big 12 and I guess back whatever. But that gave you a hint that it's SEC. But who's the SEC leader for single season passing yards?
And Ryan Day coached him?
Ryan Day coached him.
Justin Fields?
Nope. He didn't even play in the SEC. He kind of did. But no. It's no other than Joe Burrow.
Oh, I just had a brain fart there.
Yep, it's Joe Burrow. So Joe Burrow, Dwayne Haskins, and Kyle McCord, all conference leaders in single season passing yards, all coached and developed by Ryan Day. Kind of.
I agree with Spiffy on this. Jeremiah Love does need 100 yards. And also, ladies and gentlemen, Dave's here.
Dave's here. He did play for LSU. You're right.
Dave is here. How about USC getting a bowl game? I think it's completely falling apart out there in Southern California.
Hey, they get another SEC dub. 2-0 for the SEC this year.
Yeah, the whole southwest quarter of the country has completely spit the bit against LSU. Yep. Got fucked up by USC, and USC's 2-0 against the SEC. They are SEC kryptonite.
They beat the vaunted LSU Tigers and then the A&M Aggies. There we go.
Yes. Send it back, Ags. Carter also has a pair of Yell Eater overalls. He got those for Christmas. Seen it on Instagram. It was on his Instagram story. Don't let him lie to you. He had what do they say? Send it back, Ags. Send it back.
I don't know. All I know they say is gig them.
Exactly. Sid said wear them.
If I had them, I would. I don't. Send me a pair. I'll wear
them. See, I told you he's actively lobbying Texas A&M fans. Get Carter some white overalls. He wants to join your cult.
I'll wear them. Whatever.
But anyway,
Mike Elko's a dude.
Yeah, I like Mike Elko. I just don't like how cultish it is at A&M. But if you're watching out there on Twitter, come on over. We got a ton of people in the chat tonight. Hit that like and subscribe button so we can get this thing going. And we took a little time off, but we are slowly building back up here to finish the season strong and get it moving all the way into spring football.
And I have a question for the chat and Twitter out there as well. Come and join the chat, answer the question, because I agree. Salma's that girl, but you got one night with either one, Salma Hayek or Sydney Sweeney. Who you taking? I know my answer.
Are you asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking the chat and you.
I don't know. I mean, just flip a coin.
No, just typical Duke. Both. Sid said both. Hey, I love it. There you go, both. All right, cool. I'm gonna have my cake and eat it too.
I would say probably one of the top bowl games I'm going to tune into is going to be Alabama, Michigan, because I want to see that.
Why? Is anybody even playing?
Yeah, Milrose playing.
Well, yeah, he has to. He's on an audition to keep his job.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, okay. I mean, that's fine. But you know who's not playing? Anybody from Michigan that's good. Will Johnson, Mason Graham, Kenneth Grant. I'm sure they're all sitting out.
That'll be interesting to see how that is going to go. I'm just trying to find a convincing bowl game outside of that one.
Texas A&M is Michigan State with oil money. I agree. That's actually a great comparison.
That is a good assessment. Yeah.
And Dave also said Sydney Sweeney, 58 is old as hell. That's true. 58 is old as hell. But she looks like she keeps it tight. Never mind. Pause.
All right. Back to the show notes. We go.
Absolutely. So we'll get a little bit of Cleveland action in here just because I am a Cleveland fan. Obviously, the Browns are moving, or are they? I don't know if you saw this, but you know what the Modell law is?
Yeah, it's pretty much where the city maintains the rights, like the NIL of the team, pretty much.
No. So what it is the team is not allowed to move away from Cleveland. Like it's a law. They're not allowed to move. They have to stay in Cleveland. Well, the new site for the stadium is in Brookdale, not in Cleveland. It's a suburb of Cleveland, but the city of Cleveland wants to keep the team in downtown. And so the city is going to try to enforce Modell law to block the Browns from moving out of downtown, because part of the Browns coming back was if you come back, you're not allowed to lose, or you're not allowed to leave Cleveland. If you try to leave Cleveland, you have to sell the team to people that'll keep them in Cleveland.
Caramba.
Yeah. And so here's what's going to happen, because so just to give you a little insight into Cleveland, the mayor of Cleveland asked the team not to announce their plans to move stadiums or anything like that until they got their federal funding to revitalize the lakeshore approved. Because if the federal government knew the Browns were leaving, they might not approve the funding. So the Browns played ball and said, okay, we won't tell anybody. And then the federal funding got approved. They got $1 billion to revitalize the lakefront. And then the Browns said, we're leaving. And now the city's saying, no, you can't leave. The thing is, if this happens, this stadium was built in 1998. So it's like 30 years old almost. And it's kind of shitty, honestly. But
that was my next question. Like, is the stadium is it a dump?
No, it's not a dump. Like it's nice enough, but like it definitely needs a massive renovation. And the other thing is, like, you got to think about it from the Haslam's perspective, right? They own this multi-billion-dollar entity that is the Cleveland Browns. Like, they're probably valued at $3 billion or something like that, and they can't capitalize on all that because of where the stadium's located. Like, you look at all the other new stadiums that are built, like Cowboys, Rams, etc. They're all built in an area where the owners also buy up all the land around it, and they build up all these like bars, restaurants. Like it's a whole place to go. Well, you can't do that where they are. Like, there's not enough space. They're on a lake. Like, there's literally nothing. And on top of that, it's going to cost twice as much to try to renovate and rebuild this stadium and turn it into what they want. And the taxpayers don't want to pay for it. Well, if you try to force the Haslams to stay there, they're not going to pay a dime. They'll be like, yeah, we'll stay, but the taxpayers are paying the whole fucking thing.
This is something that I might be naive here, but at a certain spot, like, these cities and municipalities, like, have to understand Like this is
the
like
money's too big.
This is the craziest thing. The Steelers do not own Heinz Field.
Yeah, the Browns don't own the Brown Stadium either. They
like
lease it from the city.
Yeah, the Steelers lease the stadium from the city, and it's like, I get that that's smart to a certain extent, and then you put the government in charge of renovating it, and they have all the liability.
Yeah, but if they don't renovate it, then you're screwed.
Exactly, because then as the owner, you have to, pour your own money into it. But that's the thing that, some of these newer stadiums like NRG, they're trying to do that in Houston. They're trying to build up around that, because when they first built that stadium, I had a buddy go to the Final Four, and I said, "How was it?" And he was like, "It's awful, because you're 30 minutes away from everything."
Yeah. Well, like the Browns isn't that bad, because like when I go to Browns games, like I'll go downtown. I park at my hotel, go to the bars downtown. That's like a 15-20 minute hike to go to the stadium or whatever. Like it's not like a great walk, and when it's fucking 10 degrees, it sucks. But the bottom line is, their lease is up in 2028. They're not breaking their lease. They're building a stadium, and they're going to move at that time. We'll see. It's just crazy to me, the bureaucracy of everything.
Why does it have to be this complicated when it comes to, certain franchises? Like, okay, obviously the Browns, do they need a new stadium, or do they just need to remodel their stadium?
They could remodel it, but it's just not financially. It's not like it would cost as much to remodel the stadium as it would to build a new one. So why wouldn't you just build what you want? And like their big thing is they want two things. They want to be able to build in an area that has room to build something around it so that people want to go. And they want to be able to build a retractable roof so that they can host Super Bowls, so they can host Final Fours, so they can host all these other events, WrestleManias, all that shit, because that's where the money is.
That is, I don't know. That is a loaded question, especially for the people that have to make those decisions. Yeah. I want nothing to do or to deal with an NFL ownership group or dealing with. I mean,
and you understand where the city's coming from. Like, they're going to lose a shit ton of tax revenue if that moves outside of Cleveland.
Oh yeah, and also whenever you're talking about that, the Browns. Haslam, he also has had his misgivings. He got locked out of his corporate offices, but the NFL let him come in. Hey, you're getting investigated for like a multi-billion-dollar scheme.
That was after he was already the owner.
You're getting investigated, but don't look at that. You can't, run that company, but we'll let you in. We'll let you in as the Cleveland Browns owner.
He was already the owner.
I mean, I get that, but you would think that, hey, we probably
listen. His company scammed some truckers out of some rewards points. I get it. Not a good look. Probably shouldn't have done it, but I don't even know if he knew that was going on. Like, whatever. Like, yeah, and he paid the fines. Haslam's one of the better owners in football, honestly.
It can't be any worse than the McCaskies. Did you see the videos from the Bears games?
Yes.
Oh boy.
But yeah, did the government ever finish paying for the last one? Who knows, man? The government doesn't pay their debts. They just continue to go in debt. But let's get into real quick before we get out of here. Let's get into the topic du jour, the title topic. We've talked a little bit about it, but I have a question for the chat and for you. We got a few in here chatting it up Notre Dame wise. Is this Notre Dame Georgia game 8:45 p.m. prime time Sugar Bowl in New Orleans? I mean, is this the biggest game in Notre Dame history? Or maybe not the biggest, but is it the most important game in Notre Dame history, I guess?
I don't know. It makes it tough. This is a tough one to answer. I'll answer it, but I don't know if you like the answer that I'll give. I think that this is major game for Marcus Freeman. I think this is a trajectory building game, because I think if you go in there and you slay the dragon that is Georgia, it completely changes the trajectory of your program, and it changes the national narrative. And I think that Marcus can go in there and right a lot of wrongs by winning this game in a lot of people's eyes. It could be one of those things that you can't argue with the success that has happened, because if he goes in there and beats Georgia and advances to the next level, all you have to do is beat James Franklin, Captain Chicken Bone Choker.
Yep. Or Boise State if they upset PSU.
Or Boise State. You're looking at that potential matchup. Not to say that they're looking past there, but
no, definitely not. I promise you, they're not.
And all things being considered, you're looking at Ohio State, Oregon, Texas, Arizona State on that side of the bracket, and I think if you could beat Georgia in the Sugar Bowl, I think it's a pick 'em with everybody rolling down.
Could be, and I'll let the chat speak before I give you my answer. Greengrass says absolutely not. Cameron says top 5. Greengrass, ND has won 13 championships. That's true. He said, I'll go top 5, but 1 is insane. Dave said, no, it's just another ND championship level game. Carter got us thinking as crazy as he is. That's fair. Now, here's why I'm going to tell you it is possibly the most important game in Notre Dame history. I agree with everything that was said. ND has won 13 championships, but all 13 of those championships were not won in a single game, right? Not won as like they didn't play for a BCS title and win it. They never played for a 4-team playoff and won it. They've never, obviously, this is the first 12-team playoff. However, on top of that, I think what you have to understand is this game is more important than maybe any game Notre Dame's ever played because of the current landscape of college football. Notre Dame was built on massive success, but at a time where it wasn't as in your face. Like, you didn't have social media. You didn't have recruiting the way it is. You didn't have NIL. You didn't have all these things. So the reason that I think this could be the most important game in Notre Dame history is because the one thing that has held Notre Dame back so hard in recruiting, so hard in building a culture, so hard in building a championship contender every single season is the fact that in the past 20 years, or hell, 30 years at that, every time you get on a big stage in a game that matters, right? A BCS championship game, a playoff game, anything like that, Notre Dame has shit the bed, and specifically against SEC teams like Georgia. So that's why it could be. It's not even the fact that this game is so important to Notre Dame's legacy or history or anything like that, but winning this game, that's a precedent for Notre Dame. It sets a standard at Notre Dame under Marcus Freeman. It tells the world that, no, this is not same old Notre Dame. This is not Browns is the Browns, right? That we're different. We're built different. We prepare different. We have a different mentality. And we're going to go in and we're going to put that on anybody that steps on the field with us. And that's why I think this is a huge game for Marcus Freeman personally, and a huge game for Notre Dame as a program, is if they are able to go into, let's be honest, they're going into the South. They're going into Louisiana, and they're going to play Georgia in SEC country. And if they go out there on the field and they win the game and they play, you could even give me an Ohio State Georgia game from 2022 where they lose barely, and I would say it's as important as any win Notre Dame has had in the last 40 years. And it's just because of everything they do and how much this means. And I think Marcus understands it. Got us thinking the Browns are in the Super Bowl. That's how wild you are. Bro, the Browns are always in the Super Bowl. Our Super Bowl is just in April. But I think that's why this could be the biggest game in Notre Dame history, man. It absolutely means that much.
Here's what it, and looking at it from the perspective of an SEC fan, I think that if you're an SEC fan, you have to be pulling hard for Georgia
and Texas
because you need one.
Yeah, let Texas and Georgia lose on Wednesday.
Oh,
Bro, I will be insufferable. Everybody in Big Ten country will be insufferable. And SEC fans are just gonna have to eat it.
See, here's the thing. Greg Sankey is trying to peddle the 9th conference game for the SEC. I think that if Texas and Georgia both spit the bit this week, it is not going to be like, I don't think you can sell that. And also, I think it's interesting that Oregon comes in the first year and they win the conference.
Yeah, I mean it is, but I think it's an important weekend for the SEC. But I'm telling you, man, and it is a and here's my favorite thing about I think what Marcus Freeman does. I think Marcus Freeman is probably one of the best coaches in college football. I think Marcus Freeman does a phenomenal job. But I think what he does better than maybe just about anybody else is he understands moments because he was a player in big moments. And I think he understands that this moment is so huge. He's not going to let it get too big to where like it overwhelms the team or anything like that. But he's going to understand that this moment, like, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if Notre Dame beats Georgia and then has a little bit of a letdown in the next round because I think he's going to put everything into this game.
Yeah, looking into it, I think Marcus will have him ready to go.
And I'll break down the game tomorrow. We'll go live tomorrow before the whoever plays tomorrow. Who is it? Texas? No. Who plays tomorrow? Arizona State, Texas. No, Boise State, Penn State tomorrow.
Yeah.
So we'll go live before that at 7:30 and be done before kickoff. And I'll break down Notre Dame, Georgia, like actually give you my opinion and break it down more. But I just think this is this. I don't know about you, but this is so fun, man. Like this playoff is so fun.
Yeah, the playoff has been great. I think that that is a possibility because I was thinking about. Actually, you stole the idea out of my head there, Cameron.
I mean, we can go live during the game. Obviously, we can't like show the game on screen. YouTube will take that down immediately. But we can go live during the game or at halftime or something.
What about fourth quarter? Good,
whatever.
Bad.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, we'll get something figured out. I look at this. This will be the last thing that I got. I'd look at this for a program defining win. If Marcus pulls this off, it completely reroutes. It reroutes, and I think it fixes a lot of the issues that we had said. A lot of people are like, well, Riley Leonard isn't great. Yeah, we know he's not a prolific passer. Still fascinated on how he won the Manning Passing Academy. Just whatever. We're not even going to rehash that. But I think this is a huge game, and I think if Marcus can go in there and right the wrongs of the Marshall NIU,
this is your chance. And it goes back to what we said in the spring, where I laid out what needs to be accomplished this year. I said 11-1 bare minimum. Did that. I said make the playoff. Did that. I said a playoff win against an SEC team. I thought they would get an SEC team first round. They didn't. They got a playoff win, which is they got half of it. But if they can beat an SEC team right here, that they accomplish everything I said they had to do this year to really level up recruiting and everything like that. Use clickbait. Oh, well, you know us. We're going to. I'm just kidding. Yeah. But yeah, we'll go live. We'll announce it on tomorrow's show. Duke and I will come up with a plan. We'll either stream the whole game or the second half or something.
Yeah, we'll figure something out.
But yeah, I think this and more than anything, just for a culture and recruiting perspective, this game is huge.
Yeah. And one last thing that I have before we end it is is Ohio State in the Ryan Day is everything calm? There's no trouble in paradise anymore, or if he loses to Oregon
right now, yes.
Because it seems like everybody is off the Ryan Day train as far as like, the fire day, because he put a beat down on Tennessee. Well, if they lose, if they lose to Oregon, do they just crank the oven back up to 10 and like ready to fire Ryan?
Depends on how it looks, I think. But I think it's calmed down. But I think he needs to go out and have a good game, and I think he needs to win this game or lose it in a similar fashion the way he did to Georgia. If he gets blown out by Oregon, I think the heat is right back on. But all right, Cameron, you want to know? I know it helps if you know ahead of time. So here's what I'll say: I will go live for the entire second half of the Notre Dame game. If we go live before that, great, but it'll be at least the entire second half.
And I think we're going to do a pre-show in between Notre Dame and Texas.
Yeah, whatever we'll do a pregame show first, but then I'll go live for the entire second half.
Because they've spaced it out. There's going to be time in between the games, and it's dumb because Texas comes on at 5. Like the first game is
no. Ohio State, Oregon's at 5.
But post Ohio State, Oregon, but it's it's going to be interesting. And yeah, we're gonna roll into the post game. We're gonna roll into the post game thing. This will probably be like one of our first post games other than NIU. It's gonna be interesting, but I just think that'll be a good decision. We'll be live after the Ohio State game. And see if they haven't.
We'll go live right before Notre Dame kicks off, or however much time we have.
Yeah, because Ohio State's on the verge of all-out civil war. Watching the Twitter personalities that were on the same page 6 months ago absolutely going at each other is hilarious to me. But with that being said, Carter, you got anything else?
No, I don't think so. I think that covers most of the topics for today.
No, I think we did. We had a little time off, but we're back and ready to grind it out and see what we can come up with. And post this everywhere, retweet it, and give us a like and a follow.
Yeah,
on here.
Absolutely. We'll be back tomorrow at 7:30. We'll be live and in color. And everything like that. So be here tomorrow. We'll break down the Penn State Boise preview, Texas, Arizona State, OSU, Oregon, and Notre Dame, Georgia. We're going to break them all down. And then, like we said, we'll do a pregame show before the Notre Dame, Georgia game. And then we'll stream at least the second half live during the game. But I appreciate everybody tuning in. Definitely hang out. If you want to help us out, share it with your friends, put it in group chats, put it on social media, whatever. It all helps. The quicker we get to 500 subscribers, the more we can expand this show and blow it up even bigger and do more interesting, fun things. And like I said, I do have some Notre Dame specific memorabilia that I'll be giving it away after we hit 500 subscribers. And it's not going to be like if you're the 500th subscriber, but as soon as we get to 500, I'll put all our subscribers into a randomizer and I'll give away a couple things.
All right. With that being said, everybody have a good night.